Okay, hope you are okay. Yeah, so we're going to start doing an introduction to just basic biology. So the first question which we need to know what it is introduction to biology. What is biology? Before we go into detail. So biology, we know that it's just the study of living things and also, or you can say organisms or living organisms. So you can say it in any way. Yeah. The other things we should also know about biology. The biology has got branches. So under biology, we've got branches. So these branches we have zoology. So when we talk about zoology, we study animals. Yeah, and we also have the botany in biology. So botany we study plants, just the opposite of zoology. And then when we have another one, we have ecology. Is another branch of biology. So under ecology, what we do is study interactions of organisms with each other and with their non-living environment or with their habitats. So here we study interactions of organisms with each other. And their environment or their non-living environment. Let me say non-living environment. That's what we do under ecology. And then we also have biochemistry. So biochemistry is another branch of biology. So in this one, we just deal with chemical reactions that occur in living organisms. So we deal with chemical reactions so that occur in living organisms. So that is botany, biochemistry. And then we also have entomology. So under entomology, we study insects. Yeah. So there are many more branches of biology, but at least these are the common ones. So let's go on. So whenever we are studying about biology, we are studying about living things. So when we are studying about living things, this also leads us to characteristics of living things. Yeah, so characteristics of living things. Let's see. So all living things, they've got characteristics or traits. So characteristics of living things. Okay. So living things, you can even just put it in a mnemonic or an acronym which is called Mr. Graphic. So Mr. Graphic will help us to understand the characteristics of living organism. So C, these are just cells. So living organisms, they have cells within them. So if you want to go details of cells, cells are just basic unit of a living organism, or the function unit of a living organism. And then this I This I will stand for irritability or sensitivity. So sensitivity. So when you talk about sensitivity, what we really talk about is the response to a stimuli. How an organism, so all the organisms, they respond to stimuli. So respond to a stimuli. So how it responds to a stimuli. Yeah. So that is irritability or sensitivity. Yeah. So F, I've got it, yeah? Feeding and nutrition. So when we talk about feeding, there are a lot of different types of feeding which we are having. Yeah. So feeding or nutrition. So okay, that's where we have autotrophic and heterotrophic. So autotrophic and heterotrophic. So heterotrophic, these they make their own food. Heterotrophic. So a good example of autotrophic, they are green plants, fruit photosynthesis. And then heterotrophic, very good example is humans. As human beings, they get already made food from other organisms. So these are feeding processes in living organism. So that's under feeding. So that's why we talk about digestion, we talk about photosynthesis, we talk about a lot of kind of feeding processes. So it is under this process called the feeding. Yeah. And the nutrition. So it's another characteristic. So feeding and the nutrition. So make sure you know these characteristics, because as we'll be going through biology, we will be learning a lot of things. Okay. So excretion. So E is for excretion. So excretion is the process by which the body removes toxic substances into out of the body. Or so you can just say toxic or you can use another way to say, okay, let me say toxic metabolic waste from cells. So this toxic which the body removes, so it removes toxic metabolic wastes, yeah, such as urea, mostly by the kidney, so salts, excess water, yeah, there's also bowel pigment from the liver, and carbon dioxide. Yeah, so that's under excretion. And then we have another one, R. So this R, I'm going to say it is respiration. So respiration is just the release of energy from food substance. So release, so the release of energy from food. That is respiration. So respiration releases energy. So meaning it is one of the most important processes that takes place. I can say it is one of those important processes. So for you to work well, you need respiration to take place. for you to run around and to do a lot of stuff, you need respiration to take place. So respiration releases energy. So we've got some other types of respiration. We've got anaerobic, anaerobic, and aerobic. So aerobic respiration is a respiration in the presence of oxygen. So aerobic, it takes place in the presence of oxygen. Then anaerobic, it takes place in the absence of oxygen. Absence of oxygen. So anaerobic, absence of oxygen. Aerobic, in the presence of oxygen. Yeah. Okay, what do we have? We have G. So G is growth. So I'm going to just write it from there. So growth. So when we talk about growth, so the growth of an organism, we're just talking about the permanent increase in size. So it's just, so you can say the permanent increase, it can be in size, mass, number of cells, or how complex an organism can be. So you can say the permanent increase in size, mass, you can also talk length or number of cells, mostly number of cells, and complexity of an organism. Yeah. And then we've got another R. So this R is reproduction. So reproduction is the process of formation of what? Offspring. Forming offspring. So when we talk about reproduction, then we're talking about forming offspring or formation of offspring. So living organisms, they produce young ones. So young ones just the same as offspring. So formation of offspring. So reproduction, it has got also two types. There is sexual reproduction and asexual. So sexual reproduction is one which involves so this reproduction, for it to take place, there is need for there is need for mating between organisms. So that's where you see the gametes of a male organism and a female organism, they fuse. So that's sexual reproduction. So sexual reproduction, it involves the fusion of male and female gametes, and it happens via sexual intercourse. So this one involves the fusion of gametes. Yeah, that's sexual reproduction, and we'll talk more and more, especially when we go on into details about these things. And then asexual reproduction, that's where you're going to see it does not involve the fusion, but an organism itself, it will just reproduce offspring. So that's where you're going to see mitosis taking place, where some new organisms they are being produced. Let's see the aim. So the aim is movement. So most of organisms, they undergo movement. So movement is just a change from one place to another. That is movement, or the process by which a living organism changes location. So when you change location and posture without any external help. So if I say without any external help, what I mean is that It's not the wings which has caused me to move, but I move because of the characteristics which I'm having within me. Yeah. So change in location and posture without any external help. Yeah. So that is Mr. Graphic. So these are the characteristics of living organisms. Yeah. So living organisms, that's also the other thing which they do. So living organisms, yeah, they also undergo some reactions. So these reactions which they undergo, they are called metabolic reactions. Yeah, so metabolic reactions. So metabolic reactions, these are just reactions that takes place inside living cells. So these are metabolic reactions. So under metabolic reactions, so they take place in living. So these are reactions that takes place in living cells. Yeah. And then under metabolic reaction, we have catabolic and anabolic. So just from the word an, it just means build up. So, and then cat, it means reducing. So we are talking about the anabolic reaction. Anabolic reaction, that's where you're going to see small particles or molecules, they come together to form larger and bigger molecules. Yeah. So the good example of anabolic reactions, we have got photosynthesis. Yeah, photosynthesis. So this is a good example. So it's just a build up. So small molecules, they come together and then to form larger and complex molecules. So they're synthesized from small molecules. Yeah, and then catabolic reaction. So catabolic reaction it involves the breaking down of larger molecules into smaller molecules. So the good example which I gave here was photosynthesis. There's also protein synthesis. So you must, in case they are being asked the question, an example of protein synthesis, even fat synthesis. So if I say synthesis, it also means build up. Synthesis and that just means the same. Then catabolic reaction, as I said, is just the breaking down. It involves the breaking down of larger molecules to smaller ones. So the good example is respiration. So respiration, you're going to find that food is being broken down to form energy. So it's a very much good example of catabolic reaction. And then we also have digestion. So digestion as well is a breaking down of food so that it can be absorbed and being assimilated into the body. Yeah, so all metabolic reaction are catalyzed by enzymes. So all these catabolic reactions are catalyzed by enzymes. So that's under. So enzymes are just biological catalysts. Okay. So the other things you may want to know, even under introduction, for you to view a cell, you need a microscope. You need a microscope. So microscopes, these are just instruments or objects which are used to view organisms or substances which unaided eye cannot view. So if I say unaided eye, it means an eye or a naked eye. This is the same. So what microscope does? They magnify small objects. Yeah, they magnify small objects. And when you take it from history, you're going to see that the one who came up with the idea of microscope was this guy by the name of Robert Hooke. That's in 1665. Yeah. So Robert Hooke is the one who came up with the idea of microscope, which was mostly a hand-raised microscope. So we have got hand-raised microscope. We also have a compound microscope. So a hand lens and a compound. So compound microscope. So under compound microscope, that's why we have light and electron microscope. Yeah. So a light microscope, I think is the one which is commonly used, and it is mostly found in almost all the laboratories, because yeah, it is expensive but not that expensive. So but at least it is found in most of laboratories. But an electron microscope, we find them in most of advanced laboratories. So the one you're supposed to be familiar with, even it can also be the one you can even encounter at your respective school. It is a light microscope. So a light microscope has got a lot of parts which you need to know. So I'm just going to draw the basic microscope. So it has got these. I'm just doing a simple one just to give you a picture. Okay, I'm also going to draw this, the arm. Yeah, and then here I'm just going to draw a stage. Yeah. So this is the arm. So here we've got objective, lenses. So there are a lot of lenses here. No wonder I've drawn them like this. And then we've got the eyepiece. Yeah. And then here you have the adjusting knob or adjustment knob. So the adjustment knob, we have got two of them. We've got the fine and the coarse adjustment knob. But just get the basic one, because all of them, they've got just this, almost the same. They do the same thing. So the adjustment. So in here there's also another adjustment knob. So down here is either there is the mirror or a light source. So if there's a mirror here, then light must be coming from this side, and then the mirror reflecting at that side. So here down there is a condenser. Yeah. So this is the stage. Let me say a mirror, and then let me also say here a condenser. Yeah, since this is a general one, at least. So if you can know these general properties of a microscope. So the eyepiece, that's where you view you view your eye here to see through. So the eyepiece is just a viewing place. So it has got lenses. So it also magnifies. The eyepiece has got lenses. Then the objective lenses, they further magnify the specimen here. So on a stage, that's a place where you place your specimen. That's on a stage. So you place your specimen. So a specimen is just a substance which you want to view under a microscope. Most it is a substance which is tough to see with naked eyes, or you cannot see it with naked eyes. Yeah, so that is the stage. That's where you place it here. You place the object you want to measure here. Then the condenser controls the amount of light to go through the specimen. So too much light can also destroy the specimen. So you must make sure, even as you are viewing, you control the amount of light to go through the specimen. Yeah. Then the other thing which you need to know is adjustment knob. So the adjustment knob, which is the one which is used so that you can have a clear image, or a clear and sharp image. So clear and sharp image. So it is being adjusted in order for you to have a clear and sharp image. So most of the times when you're using this one, it affects the stage here. So it's other so there are those adjustment knobs whereby when you're adjusting it, it's either it is going up or down, and then others also going left or right, something like that. So yeah, so as you be adjusting the stage, so that a clear and sharp image can be viewed under a microscope. Yeah. So we have also some special things under microscope. Microscope can also be used to measure the magnification. So what is magnification? So magnification is the number of times an image of an object can be enlarged. So a number of times an image can be enlarged or magnified, yeah, as compared to the specimen. So the number of times an image can be magnified. So there is also total magnification. So total magnification, if you hear someone say total magnification, so total magnification, it means you need to take all the magnification of a microscope. So total magnification, it is just a product of the ocular magnification. So the magnification which is found here in the eyepiece, it is called the ocular magnification or eyepiece magnification, and then this one is the objective lens magnification. So total magnification, you say product of ocular magnification and the objective lens magnification. So if you're given a question to find total magnification, they must give you what an ocular magnification is, and also the magnification of the objective lens. Yeah. So you can also further find magnification by the formula magnification by the formula. So I say the size of drawing, which is the image, divided by size of specimen. Yeah, so that's it. So the size of drawing divided by the size of the specimen. Yeah, I think that's how you can do your magnification. So let's go on to cells now, details now. So since we've tackled the microscope, now let's go on to cells. So cells, as we said, these are just a functional or basic unit of living organism. Yeah, of a living organism. So you can view this under a light microscope or under an electron microscope. So under a light microscope, you are going to see there are some things you are going to view, but an electron microscope it has got a larger magnification, so it can magnify more. So you must also, the basic thing you should also know, you must know the basic structures of the cell. So under the cell, we know that we have got plant cell and animal cell. So the basic structure of a plant cell, at least, so this one, when you view it under a light microscope, it must give you something like this. So I'm going to have a nucleus there, and then I'm going to have a vacuole, and then I have some chloroplast. Yeah, so this is so basic. And then an animal cell with the structure is not it's not regular like a plant cell. Plant cells, most of them they have got regular structures. So what is common between